Everyone right now needs black people. Let me tell you the truth. Each and every Europe country needs black people's melanin. Why? It is because of our rhythm. It is because of our essence to fill the emptiness that no technology, no economy, no imitation can ever satisfy.
So apparently Japan needs black men, more specifically the Japanese women. So why did the Japanese need black men, you ask? Well, apparently black men seems to be the preferred type for them to want to repopulate Japan. So apparently the amount of Japanese people being born per year has reduced. So therefore, why don't we just holler at black men? The first time I heard this was like, why black men? What happened to the white dudes, the Latinos, the Middle Eastern? You know what? Forget all those groups. What happened to just Japanese men in general? Well, if you're asking me, I don't know if this should be seen as a compliment for black men or it should be seen as an insult for Japanese men. Now, I don't know if this is true, but there's a fear that some parts of Japan might be racist towards black people. I can't confirm this experience, but I know personally that my brother went to Japan and he told me that he had a great time. They were very hospitable. Like, he ate more than he usually could and he ended up losing weight because the food felt like it was so natural there. He told me that the people were super polite, like to the point where he had to be polite just to match their polite level. And no, my brother didn't go because of this thing. He just went there for a holiday because he loves anime and he just wanted to see what Japan's like. And you already know I'm from Cameroon, so obviously my brother's from Cameroon. And one of my close friends is Nigerian, actually lives in Japan, and he told me that his experience has been quite great. Not all the time with everybody, of course, but for the most part, he's enjoyed himself there and he's still been living there for the last 8 years. But before I finish this video, free Congo, free Sudan, peace.
A grand rising, beautiful family. Welcome back to my YouTube commentary. Thank you so much for showing up. And I appreciate you so much. Without you, there's no Kenyan beast. Without you, there's no Pan-Africanism. Now, lately, I've heard news about Japan. I've heard news about Japan. They need black people. Now, that's what I'm going to talk today on my video. And let us be honest in a little bit. When you look at the state of the world, one thing becomes clear. Every nation, every culture, every people outside of Africa has leaned on black people to survive, has leaned on black people to thrive, has leaned on black people to feel complete. From the United States to Europe, from the Middle East to Asia, everyone reaches into the black spirit, the black body, and the black culture when they feel empty. Oh my goodness. That's why I say today, everyone needs black people. But before I go down on that video, before I go down on my commentary, I want you to watch these clips talking about Japan needing black people, and then we'll come back because the strong message it is on my commentary. Please watch until to the end.
Major breaking news. Japan is now opening doors for African nations to go and live in Japan. Nations like Nigeria, Ghana, Mozambique, and Tanzania. They are full welcomed in Japan. Remember, Japan has never allowed foreigners to their nation. They've been fond of getting rid away of them. But now they're welcoming Africans in Japan. Japan has been hit by a major crisis. They're struggling of aged population. There have been closure of schools in Japan because they are no longer young population. They've gone ahead and said they're welcoming Africans, but they will create specific locations for these Africans. They have demarcated locations for these African nations: Nigeria, Ghana, Mozambique, and Tanzania. Imagine, they don't want these Africans and the real Japanese to mix. So, I don't know if our Africans will go to Japan. You all understand? Africans are struggling with jobs. They have to go there to look for greener pastures. But do you think that this is the right option for Africans to go to Japan, whereby they are not allowed to mix with the Japanese? Not allowed.
Japan is designating 4 cities to be the home of Africans from 4 countries. And those countries are Nigeria, Tanzania, Ghana, and Mozambique. Now, Japan has been notorious for keeping out foreigners. And Japan is facing a massive crisis. It's facing a massive crisis of lack of population growth. So hospitals and schools have been closing in Japan for the last so many years. The biggest crisis they have right now is that they have a very large aging population, and now they are realizing that they have to open the doors for Africans, but they don't want the Africans to be mixing with the Japanese people, so they have created and assigned 4 cities that will become the hometowns for Africans. It makes me laugh because, like, what is it about Africans that, you know what? Yeah, we Africans should just refuse to be treated this way. That they don't want the actual Africans to mix with normal Japanese people, so they have to assign locations where Africans will stay, will be confined. And because I don't think people realize just how right-wing Japan is. Tell me, what do you think about this? Why is it that Africans allow themselves to be treated and I know Africans need to go to places because it seems like because opportunities are thin on the ground. But how can we just continue to just be treated in this way? What do you guys think? Just let me know in the comments what you think about Japan designating 4 cities in which Africans can live in Japan.
Almost 1 million more people died than were born in Japan last year, making it the steepest yearly population decline since records began. Just over 686,000 babies were born in 2024, while nearly 1.6 million people died. That means for every baby born, more than 2 people passed away. You can read more of the stats on the link below. Elderly people, aged 65 and over, now make up nearly 30% of Japan's population, the second highest proportion in the world after Monaco, according to the World Bank. The Japanese government has tried to increase birth rates, with incentives like free childcare, flexible working hours, and paid parental leave. But it's not having much impact, and the nation's healthcare and pension systems are feeling the squeeze. High living costs, stagnant wages, and a rigid work culture put many young people off starting families, and entrenched gender roles often leave women with limited support as primary care.
Is there a more urgent issue in Japan right now than this demographic crisis?
There are climate change, government deficit, but if there's no people living in Japan,
it's all relevant. Climate change and government deficits in the military if you don't have people living here.
That's right. The central door is only for the emperor when he...
A longtime high-ranking minister in Japan's parliament, Taro Kono, was nearly elected prime minister in 2021 and says he intends to seek the highest office again.
What does Japan look like if it continues to shrink like this?
There are less and less number of young generation, and all the burdens are on the young generation, and they won't be able to sustain. So society is going to be breaking up. Economy is just going to stagnate. Even for self-defense force, last year we recruited only half of what we need.
The Japanese military.
You feel it.
Guys, Japan's population is dying. They're like estimating that like by 2100, a lot of these prefectures might be shut down because no one's having kids in Japan. So the government, I'm going to show you guys the articles, the government is launching a dating app. This is hopefully to like get people to go out there and talk and get married, have kids, have babies. It's crazy to me. Like Japan will do everything but release the restrictions of the visa and how to get to Japan. I think they're worried, or in my opinion, I think they're worried because if too many foreigners just come to Japan, like the integrity of Japan might be compromised, as in like the history of Japan. It will not be the same Japan, right? If all these foreigners come here and are living in Japan, right? But at the same time, like, what do you guys think they should do? Let me know in the comments. They're already blocking off like the Mount Fuji sign. From the Lawson, like over tourism is a thing here, especially in Kyoto, Osaka, Tokyo, all these main big places, right? So what would happen if they released the visa restrictions? Let me know.
A Japanese lawmaker proposed that women over 25 cannot marry, and women over 30 must have their uteruses removed as a way to increase Japan's declining birth rate. I'll explain. Naoki Hayakuta has sparked widespread outrage with his controversial proposals aimed at addressing Japan's declining birth rate. Hayakuta's remarks were made during a YouTube program where he discussed potential measures to increase Japan's birth rate. He suggested that all women in Japan should undergo forced hysterectomies after the age of 30 and be banned from marrying after 25. Additionally, Hayakuta proposed restricting women's access to education beyond the age of 18 to prioritize childbearing over other pursuits. According to him, these extreme measures would pressure women to have children earlier, reversing the nation's demographic decline. Japan has been grappling with the declining birth rate and an aging population for several decades. The country's birth rate has dropped to its lowest level since 1969. Japan's health ministry reported only 350,074 births between January and June, marking a 5.7% decline compared to the same period last year. Women across Japan fiercely condemned the Conservative Party leader's remarks, calling them oppressive and deeply misogynistic. Facing intense backlash, Hayakuta later issued an apology, claiming his comments were merely a hypothetical idea. He then stated that they were meant to spark discussion within the framework of a science fiction storyline, and that he did not personally support these ideas. What do you think about Hayakuta's remarks? Let us know in the comments.
To move to Japan, they're actually encouraging people to move to Japan.
Bro, I saw a YouTube video on that. This dude I think he moved from like LA or somewhere in California, and for like 110 grand, he got like an acre and a half or something like that, or more maybe.
Well, Japan is experiencing population collapse.
What?
Yeah, they're not having kids at a replacement rate. So replacement rate means like if there's two parents, you should have like 3 or more kids. Like you have, if you're trying to replace the people that are here. When you think about how many people are going to die of old age, how many people are going to die, how many people are going to live, how does the population sustain itself over the course of the next X amount of generations? Well, you have to have a high replacement rate. And right now, Japan has a very low replacement rate. Like, it's spooky low. We're at the point where they're in a panic, and they're trying to figure out how to encourage people to move to Japan, how to get people in Japan to have kids.
Oh, because there's like
a lot of incels, though.
That's
what it is.
But no, what I'm saying is like that's got to be kind of scary, because if they're not replacing people, that means like fucking jobs won't get
not just
too.
jobs. The country's gonna go. There won't be any people left.
What do you mean? I mean, there would just be way less people, but it's not like they're gonna all disappear.
Well, they'll all die off, and if they don't have kids,
I'm worried about like who's gonna fucking farm and take care of the animals and shit.
Yeah, well, there's gonna be less of that too, but they're probably the people that will have kids. Is the farmers and the rural people. But what is Japan's replacement rate? It's very low, right, Jamie?
How's our replacement rate? We're all right, right? We're not getting knocked up like crazy.
A little weird too.
Yeah,
we're in a weird situation too.
I feel like
there's
all
a
my
lot
friends
of people
knocked
here.
up their girlfriends already.
Well, that's good. That's nice. There's a lot of people here, and there's a lot more people aren't having kids than have ever before. It's different. We're not in danger, but like South Korea is in danger. Like South Korea, the replacement rate is really bad. Yeah, I think it's something crazy, like how many people that are alive today will have grandchildren, and it's very small.
Welcome back. Now, our melanin is more than skin. I did a video about that on my latest episode. Melanin is energy, it is life, it's the spark that gives rhythm to music. It is the spark that gives power to sports. It gives soul to culture, and that gives depth to spirituality. So without melanin, the world feels hollow. Without melanin, the world feels empty. But with melanin, the world feels alive. Think about it. America without black people, no jazz, no hip hop, no soul. Let me tell you, America without black people, no sports dominance. America without black people, no civil rights struggle to inspire democracy. Europe without Africa, no resources. Take example of Africa to be precise, of France to be precise. France without Africa, it's not existing. Its economy is crumbling. Just lately when Burkina Faso said no to France, everything started going sour, okay? Without melanin, the world is just empty. No food, okay? No diamonds, no inventions. Let me tell you one thing. Inventions were carried across the ocean from Africans' minds. Latin America without Africans, no samba, no salsa, no carnival, no rhythm. And now we look at Japan right now, a country known for discipline, technology, precision, and culture, but also a country battling aging population. Japan has the most aged people. And having this aging population and rising of emptiness, they search for vitality, okay? And guess who are they looking for? They are looking for black people. to melanin. They are looking for black people to the rhythm and spirit that only Africa's and her children carry. Japan right now is discovering what America, Europe, and Latin America already knew. You cannot feel complete without Africans' essence. And family, let me tell you, that is both a blessings and a warning to my people. Now, family, why is the world obsessed with blackness? Why is the world obsessed with blackness? Why do they copy us? Why do they chase black people? Why do they crave of black people? And the answer is one thing: melanin. I did that video and I showed how the black people's or how the melanin is so powerful. Melanin is not just pigmentation. It is not just what makes our skin brown or black. It's a powerful biological substance that connects us to the universe, that connects black people to the power. It absorbs energy from the sun and transforms it into life. Melanin protects us black people from radiation. It enhances our connections to rhythm, to creativity, to spirituality. Now, scientists know this. They study melanin in secret and then they use it in military technology. Yes, they go in secret and study melanin and they use it in military technology because melanin can absorb harmful radiation and it is just powerful. They look at melanin as a possible key to future medicine and energy. And while they study it, they tell us it is just skin color. And let me tell you today, blackness, it is not just skin color. Blackness, it is something different. Blackness, it is strength. It is power. The truth is, the melanin is powerful. It is divine. And that's why the world craves black people. They feel incomplete without the presence of melanin around them. That's why white women are looking for black men because of the melanin. I saw a video where a white lady said that she wants or she's craving for black men because she doesn't want her kids to die. She wants her kids to live long. And the videos we have talked about Japan, they know this too. Their fascination with blackness isn't just about culture. It's about energy. It's about soul. It's about feeling a world or feeling a void they cannot explain. Now, let's go deeper. Beyond science, melanin too is spiritual, very spiritual. It connects to our ancestors. It connects us to vibrations that others cannot feel. And that's why our music carries healing. That's why with our dances, black people dances, it carries energy. That's why our presence, our presence shifts the room. Every time a black man, every time a black person enters a boardroom, everyone is shocked. For example, in the midst of white people, and then a black man steps in, everyone is turning their head. Why? Because of that spirit, because of that power. When black people enter space, man, the atmosphere changes. That is reality. People feel it. They cannot explain it, but they know it is real. And that's why world copies us. That's why the world imitates us. But you can never duplicate black people. That is the reality. You can never duplicate us. Japan, to give an example, is drawn in this energy. They know their society is ordinary, but lacks soul. And that's why their youths are changing black identity or are chasing black identity. Because deep down, they are seeking a connection to spirit. They are seeking a connection to life force. They are seeking a connection to life rhythm. Now, history repeats itself everywhere. I love to go down to the history. I've told you a number of times that me and history, we are like this. Because without history, they will tell us a lot of lies. The historical pattern why they always come to black people is that whenever a nation grows, it have to reach to black people. Whenever a nation want to grow, it have to reach to black people. Let's look, for example, Rome. Rome did it when it absorbs Egypt. America did it when it enslaved Africans. Europe did it when it colonized Africa. Latin America did it when it imported millions of Africans. And now, Asia, including Japan, China, and these other Asian countries, is joining the same circle. They are reaching towards Africa, towards blackness, because without us, they feel incomplete. But here's the difference. This time, we are no longer in chains. We are no longer asleep. We are no longer unaware. Right now, we know our power. We have the history books. We have learned the history books. We watch. We have it in our fingertips that we are powerful. We know that the world needs us as black people, not the other way around. So, this is the difference. But history, it is repeating itself. And black people, let me tell you, are the source of the world culture. Black people are the source of the world culture. When you think about it, just think about culture. Who drives it? Who sets the trends? Who creates the music, the slang, the fashion, the movement? It is always black people. I've always given example of music, the greatest music to ever played in the face of the world, from hip hop, Afrobeats, jazz, reggae to king. Man, let me tell you, even gospel in black churches to soul, every sound that moves the world comes from Africa. Every sound that moves the world comes from black people. If I'm wrong, tell me in the comment section, because even in Africa alone, we have Afrobeats, we have Amapiano. In East African music, we have bongo. It gives the taste of the world. Without black culture, the youths will feel lifeless. For example, the youths of their Europe, or they will feel that. Japan recognizes this, and that's why they invest in hip-hop dance schools. That's why Japanese DJs scratch records like the pioneers of New York. I have seen this before. I've seen Japanese DJs doing the scratch like pioneers. I have seen that. That's why their fashion designers borrow heavily from Harlem, Compton, and Lagos. Okay? Let me tell you, we have the hidden fear of black power. And here's the irony. While Japan embraces blackness in culture, just like America and Europe, there is still fear of black power. They admire us, but they don't want us to rise fully. They love our rhythm, but they fear our revolution. Everyone does that, even in Europe. They love us, they love our culture, but they don't love the people. And this is the global contradiction. They can't live without us. But they are afraid of what happens when we realize that they can't live without us. And let me tell you, black people are not bad people. We already know you cannot live without us. We already know that, but we can't do anything. We are not for revenge. Black people are the mothers of everyone. So we are never for revenge. We want equality for the world. Okay? And this means something the fear means something to black people. We must recognize the power we hold as black people. The world is addicted to us. The world is leaning on us. The world is studying us. And while they need us to feel alive, we must learn to need ourselves. We must learn to love ourselves as black people. We cannot keep giving away our essence for free. We cannot let others profit from our culture while we remain at the bottom. We must reclaim ownership of our music. We must reclaim ownership of our fashion. We must reclaim ownership of our invention. We must reclaim ownership of our identity. We must reclaim a lot of things as black people. That is reality. And Japan, like just America, like Europe, they need us. But do we need them? That's the question we need to ask ourselves. Do we really need them? I think we are self-sufficient. Africa has every resources. We do not need them. And that's where our power rises. We do not need them. Black people have every talent. The diaspora have every skill. And together, we are the original and eternal source. Let me tell you, black unity as the center of the world is the future. And that, I am saying that with no contradiction. This is where the conversation must end, okay? The world is coming back to Africa. Japan is just the latest to show it, okay? They are turning towards Africa. They are turning towards black people because they know their future is empty without us. But this time, we must not give ourselves away cheaply. This time, we must unite as Africans and descendants across the diaspora. This time, we must make sure Our melanin, our culture, our energy is invested back to us. Because the truth is, black people don't just make countries feel alive. Black people are the life. Think about it. When you go to France, France is a Europe country, but black people are the one who is carrying the sports sector. Reality. Black people are the one who is carrying the sports sector, are the one who is carrying their culture. During colonization, we did not realize our power. From the history, I learned that the chiefs of those days, the African chiefs were given small token like guns, mirrors, and they were, giving in. But right now, we are so much educated as black people. We cannot fall for the lies. We cannot fall for those cheap goodies. We as African youths, we are standing together and we are saying what? We are saying no to the colonizers. Neo-colonies, we are done away with it. Because we understand that we got everything that we need to protect our culture. We need to protect our resources. With these resources, that's why they are doing great. With our resources, that's why they are flourishing. With our resources, that's why they are building economies. Their economies is strong. Their dollars, their currency is strong because of our resources. Why can't we do this to us? They need us. They need us. But do you think, do we need them? I don't think so. We do not need a damn them. We need to understand that as black people so that we can be fully strong. Okay? Now, Grand Rising Kings and Queens. This is the moment the world needs us. Japan, to be precise, is showing the pattern clearly. But instead of being used, it is time to rise. It is time to reclaim. It is time to remind the world that Africa is the beginning and the future. I love you all, and I thank you for tuning in. I honor you for walking this way in my journey. Stay united, and remember, our melanin is not just skin. It is the essence of the universe itself. Until next episode, peace out.